The Vikings are back at US Bank Stadium, take on the Ravens. Happy Thursday. We are one day away from the weekend. Vikings big game this weekend off the win in Detroit, coming up against the Baltimore Ravens, who are now at full strength. Their injury report came out today. No injuries to report for the guys that are still active on their roster. So that's good for them. Vikings had again a lengthier injury report, but there's a lot of positives on that injury report. We'll get into those in a bit here. But I mean, needless to say, this is a big game. I mean, coming off a huge win in Detroit. The emotional hangover we've dealt with before. JJ McCarthy even said in the post-game locker room, like, we can't let that happen. We got to get back to work. And I have a feeling that this coaching staff is going to have these guys ready to play, and the players are going to be a little pumped up after that Detroit win. But it's not easy, right? I mean, you got Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and that Baltimore offense coming in. I don't care how dinged up their defense is. That offense is enough to win them games. So needless to say, this is a huge game, and we're already, the record at home isn't great. What are we? Are we 1-3 at home? 1-2. We haven't played many home games, right?
No, because we played the 2 games overseas. That was where we lost to Eagles.
Atlanta. We
won against Cincinnati.
Atlanta, lost to the Eagles, beat Cincinnati.
So we're 1-2.
Just 3
I think we really are. Yeah, I think so. Right?
I guess I can look at my phone here. Yeah, we've only played 3 home games. That's wild. That's actually wild.
So we need to break even at home here.
But either way, 1-2 at home. We got to start winning some home games. So it's a big one.
Yeah, dude. 100%. And yeah, I'm excited. Like the whole Lions game and McCarthy coming back and looking the way he did. And we're gonna get into some more McCarthy stuff in a bit here, but it hasn't just brought a spark to the team so far, and we'll see. Obviously, that was one game, but it has brought a spark definitely to the fan base, to most of them. Obviously, there's still those ones out there who wanted to hold on tight to JJ McCarthy failing for whatever reason. I don't get why. And, they're still trying their best to act like JJ McCarthy didn't really play that well last game. But we'll get into that in a second here. I'm going to do some shout outs here because we got a guy, Lone Wolf, in here right away. JJ McCarthy and Josh Allen, Cam Newton are the only quarterbacks to have a rush and pass touchdown in the first 3 games. Let's go. Bob Sweden in the building. What's going on, Bob? I see you. George Blunt, 69 here, Bob. 69 here, Bob. Wait, are you guys talking about age or what? What's going on? What's going on over there, buddy? My guy, Gary, in the building. What up, Gary? What up? Two-toned, I see you, my guy. What's up? Who else we got in here? I see y'all. Yeah, dude. Just going back to this game, or just leaving this Lions game. All the momentum coming from that. I mean, that win doesn't get big. That was probably the biggest game we were going to have on this entire schedule, and we ended up winning, right? Because you're playing in Detroit against a divisional opponent who is arguably, at this point too, especially with how the Eagles have kind of been a little bit up and down, you could argue that they're the best team in the NFC, or some people would for them. Yeah, so that was really big. And going into this game against an AFC team that's been obviously kind of a powerhouse in years past, but this year, obviously without Lamar, it's a whole different team without Lamar Jackson. With Lamar Jackson, you brought the injury things up, and you said they didn't have any injury report, which is convenient for them, of course. And Lamar Jackson's back right in time to play against us. Looked really good last Thursday against Miami. That's going to be a tall task, but that defense has just not been playing as expected. Obviously, they still have some players on that team where you feel like they could take a step forward, but I don't think there's a lot of guys on the defensive line there, as far as like their pressure has not been good. They have the second least sacks in the NFL this year, and other than Roquan Smith, there isn't really any big names there. So it's just like, I feel like that could be an issue. The pass rush could be an issue for throughout the season, where maybe you see the secondary figure their shit out, but hopefully that's not this week. And I do think that there is some holes in this team that we can take advantage of. And I do, even though, you got to respect Lamar and the Lamar and Derrick Henry combo over there. But outside of that, it's not the scariest team in the NFL. based on like their wide receiver talent is still kind of just mid, I think, in my opinion. But Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry are the big ones in this one.
Yeah, I mean, Zay Flowers obviously Zay Flowers is the first round pick in his own right. He's solid. They do have two pretty good tight ends. So I don't know. I mean, it's an offense you got to look out for, especially just the added effect of what Lamar Jackson can do. Always adds a little bit of caveat to it.
What up, dude?
We haven't been great against quarterbacks like that so far this year. I mean, Jalen Hurts. I guess we did a decent job containing Jalen.
We've been really good at containing quarterbacks this year, though.
For Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert got a couple of big chunks on us.
Yeah, but that's the thing. One thing I've figured, one thing that I've kind of noticed is we've actually done. I feel like we've done pretty well throughout this season at stopping like the other team's main thing, or like I feel like we go into this game knowing like we have to stop the run. No matter what, that's our number one focus. And then we do that. But then at some points in the game where we let something else, like against, like, because we talk about every other game recently that we've been stopping the run. And then the other game, well, obviously, like we're stopping runs against some of the best running games in the NFL. And then we're getting smoked by some basically no name running backs in other games. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with like game plan, as far as like we're going in this game like we're gonna stop the run. Okay, we did it against the Eagles, and then they ended up using make Jalen Hurts use his arm, ends up using his arms, obviously takes advantage of us in those situations. And same with, and then obviously with the Lions, like number one goal, stop the Lions. Luckily we got pressure on Goff, and Goff just didn't have his best game, I think. So he wasn't able to take advantage of us. But I feel like we've done good, like as far as like our Justin Herbert, you're not going into that game thinking you're going to stop the run there. Even though I guess that one you could say, well, even that one we got smoked by Vidal, and then it kind of opened everything else for the team, because you're going against them worrying about their pass. You're not really you're not worried about the run. At least this is just a theory of mine that I've just been noticing. It just seems like, because what's the odds that you just stop, say you have one of the worst running defense in the NFL, but then it's pretty convenient. You stop Saquon Barkley, Montgomery, and I don't know how we did against Bijan. How did we do against Bijan in that?
Not
game?
Great. I think he had a pretty solid game.
But he smoked us in the receiving game, I thought. Didn't he?
Let me find out. I have him on one of my teams. Let me check out how he did that week.
But yeah, so basically what I'm saying is like I feel like we've done good.
No, he had 143 rushing yards against us.
Oh, he did? Okay, so that was wrong.
25 receiving yards. Yeah. They killed us. Yeah.
They killed us with that one. Okay, so there's an example there. But other than that, I do think that like mostly we've came into the games and have done good as far as like stopping like their main thing or whatever. Like even with Jalen Hurts, he had barely any yards.
But the biggest thing with this team though is not like the run game, sure, but it's not just the running back. It is the running back plus Lamar Jackson, who is the best.
Which is the same thing with the Eagles.
Yeah, but I would put Lamar Jackson in a class above Jalen Hurts in the scrambling running.
I would too. But still, like there's not a better running back quarterback combo. It's like Lamar, Derrick Henry, and then under them it's Hurts.
Yeah, and Hurts and Barkley. I mean, they have the youth aspect to him because obviously Henry's a little bit long in the tooth, but I feel like Lamar they do a lot more designed runs for, where like Jalen Hurts is a lot more like scrambling type.
Yeah, you'd have to worry
as well, but I mean,
you have to worry more.
It is something that Flores had a great plan for Detroit, and it's going to be just as good of a plan here. And it is going to. And again, it's the added thing of you got to get pressure on him, sure, but you also need to keep him in the pocket as well.
Right, but you don't got, unlike the Eagles, the Ravens don't have an AJ Brown, and maybe you put Zay Flowers. I don't know. Do you think it's fair to put Zay Flowers in and Devonta Smith in the same kind of skill category?
Who? Zay Flowers,
Devonta Smith, and Zay Flowers, Devonta Smith.
I don't know, maybe
because they definitely don't have an AJ.
There, I think, but
they don't have an AJ Brown.
No,
for sure. So like for the Eagles, if you go all in on stopping the run, like, and we saw it straight up that they have the talent in wide receiver room to kind of smoke us there. So does the Lions, but we were able to destroy the middle of that offensive line and make an impact there. So
yeah, I mean it's going to be a tough one for the defense. Flores has to come in with a great plan here.
I'll do Lamar. Yeah, I don't think this Ravens defense is not as bad as the stats suggest, especially lately. What, one game against Miami.
Yeah.
I don't know. This has
Miami,
not
the
been
team
that good.
kind of just sold. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think I'm not that worried about Baltimore's defense. It's not the all I can tell you for sure is we've played more difficult defenses this year.
Yeah, I mean the defensive backfield that's tough.
It has
I mean,
talent. I would
Hamilton,
say that
Starks,
there's
Wiggins, Murphy. Is it what's his? Drawing a blank on his name. Marlon Humphrey.
Murph, Humphrey, Hamilton, Starks, Wiggins.
There's a lot back there.
I feel like those. I can see the secondary stepping up, doing better than they've done this season, but their defensive line has not been causing pressure. Obviously, I don't go and watch a lot of Ravens games, but based off of what I've heard and everything like that, it just doesn't sound like they're causing very much pressure. And I don't know if it's just like our run defense, where I'm like, who knows? Now we had a good run game. We stopped the run last week, but it's just one of those things where I'm like, do I feel confident that our run defense can continue to play at that level or be good? Because it just might be a hole in this team. That's kind of how I feel about the Ravens pass rushing game.
Yeah, but
could be wrong. We'll find out. But I'm not super worried about their defense, pretty much. But I'm not sleeping on them either. I don't think it's going to be easy. But OUTDUEL. The offense has to consistently score, or they will be behind for most of the game. Are you talking about the Vikings or the Ravens?
I assume the Vikings probably there.
The offense has to be consistently score. They'll be behind. It doesn't really make sense for the Vikings, though, because the Vikings, a lot of games we haven't. For a lot of Vikings, the first 4 games, people were talking about the Vikings not allowing a lot of points. How many points have we been allowing this year?
We've had a couple rough ones recently.
Recently.
But also, isn't that kind of the nature of the NFL? Like, you're kind of supposed to score. If you don't find ways to score, yeah, of course you're going to be behind.
Yeah. I don't know. I think.
We're not saying this. That's the thing. Baltimore's offense is good. Like, that's what we're trying to say here. But we think we can score against this defense.
And I think it is not crazy at all. If you're watching this Vikings defense, there's enough talent if you're talking about the Ravens defense playing better than the stats suggest, you can definitely say the same thing with the Vikings. There's enough personnel on this team. We saw it just last week against the Lions that if everything is going right the way it should be, this defense can literally be one of the better defenses in the NFL. The players are there. Our team technically should be better than it was last year. And last year we were top 10 defense.
Well, that's why you got to hope what we saw last week in Detroit, especially from like the aggressiveness perspperspective,
and it
carries over to this week. And the game plan just is obviously factored around keeping Lamar in the pocket and limiting. Because you don't. Some teams have in the past mainly by getting a lead, but you don't stop Derrick Henry. You just limit him to the best of your abilities. And that's what they're going to try to do. And it's tough to ask, but
yeah. But yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't know. I don't think. I think there's definitely the Vikings defense has been more of like, will they step up this week because it's in them, more than like their defense is so trash that the offense needs to score every single drop. It's not, our defense is not like that at all, in my opinion. Yeah. The problem is the team needs to bring the same energy from last week. Yeah. Why is that unlikely?
Yeah, I don't want to hear the emotional letdown, because I don't know. I do think that JJ McCarthy brought a spark. Like, having a young quarterback in there that kind of hypes you up, I think that brought a spark to this team.
It felt like it.
Yeah. So I don't know. Because we sucked that first defensive drive. We come out, we score, and all of a sudden the defense just kind of fires up. Like, I don't know. I think they're going to be motivated, ready to play this week. It's a home game. That place is going to be rocking. Good team coming in. Like,
yeah. I don't know. It sounds stupid, but like, vibes is a big thing. As far like, you could have all the talent in the world, and if everybody feels like they're going to lose, then you're going to come out stale. But if your team feels like they're going to win, which Kevin O'Connell mostly does a really good job at getting this team ready to come out and want to win. We've seen it's kind of been up and down in that area this season, but it's been a whirlwind with injuries and Carson Wentz and da-da-da-da-da. So I'm with Casey as far as like, it feels like this team could really have a spark. So not saying that they'll come out maybe, who knows, maybe they come out this game, JJ throws an interception or something early and that spark goes away or whatever. But I definitely wouldn't say that it's unlikely for them to come out here. Why are the Ravens more motivated? What makes them more motivated? The Vikings just beat Detroit at home in a game that everybody picked the Lions to win, and they were 9.5-point favorites in a division game against arguably the best team in the NFC. So it's hard for me to think that the Ravens have more motivation behind them than the Vikings do right now.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
Anyways, I spent too much time on all that.
I mean, but coming off that Lions game, it is important for Kevin O'Connell to make sure he got these guys ready to play.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it all comes down to, especially off that win, coming back home against a good team. Like, I think the fact that it's the Ravens makes it better. Like, if it was some slappy team coming in here that you thought you had a good chance to beat, then I could see I could see it being like a trap game to an extent. But I don't know. I just think the talent of the caliber of opponent you have coming in here. Yeah. And you know what you just did in Detroit, and you know what you have to do to keep up with this division. So I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good.
Norris Forest, welcome back, dude. Yeah, and not on top of that is like, regardless of whether JJ McCarthy is going to be the guy or not, one thing for sure is I feel pretty confident that he's going to come in and he isn't going to come into a game and not be ready for it. Like he's going to come in with that mentality, the 9 mentality, whatever you want to talk in. We can get into JJ McCarthy.
I guess we could probably just,
we can just jump into JJ McCarthy right here. But that's what's special about this kid outside of like, what can he do physically? Is he going to be the long-term quarterback? It's like, he's got that energy where if there's a guy that's going to come in and not be and not like at like what was the exact words that you used? Like a what game? A trap game. Yeah. He doesn't feel that. He's young. He's too young and hungry, I think. On top of that, he hasn't. Who knows? Maybe the NFL could beat him up and you lose some. And it does happen where a quarterback comes in, especially a young one, and gets beat up so much that they can kind of lose that fire. But I don't think that. I think it's pretty fucking obvious that our boy number 9 has not had that part yet in his career, and hopefully doesn't. And yeah, I mean, I guess right off the bat, do you want to just jump right into the whole 9 thing?
Yeah, I mean, look, so I called it before this season that like he seemed like the type of guy that people outside of the Vikings, mainly outside of Vikings fandom, but I know there's going to be some
Appreciate you, bro.
I know there's going to be some guys in Vikings fandom that feel this way too. I felt like there would be a couple weird things that he would say that people are just going to be like, that's a little bit weird. Like he's got a tad bit of Russell Wilson to him.
Are you a Viking? You have a Viking fan? Are you a Viking fan? I totally disagree though. I'll let you finish what you say though.
It's a little cheesy. He's a little bit.
But
Justin Jefferson said the same thing. Like he's like every player needs to have like that other place they go when they get on the field, because Jefferson said, he's like, I'm Justin at the podium, but when I'm on the field, I'm Jets. Like I'm different, and you do kind of have to be that way.
Yeah, you do. And I'm like, I'm trolling y'all. Well, that's why I'm like, are you a Viking fan? I mean, it's not the first time we've had a Viking fan in here, and they've only had bad things to say. But the
Two Evil does that all the time. Where's he been?
I know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, where are you at, Two Evil? But no, so this is where I'm at with the JJ McCarthy thing. I get it. I get the cringe thing. I get like why a lot of people will call anything he says. He's talking like Kevin O'Connell. He's talking like he's a motivational guy type of vibes or whatever. And I get it because he's a young kid, hasn't proven himself. And I think that's fair to some extent. I would say this though about this whole what's going on, Nano? Look at JJ when Kelsey's hugging him and talking to him in the locker room. Legit. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is when it comes to JJ McCarthy, like he's not, people want to say cringe, but he's not. Cringe to me is if someone's trying, let's say someone
almost is
fake. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get it is. That's the reason why it's cringe is because he's young. He has 3 games. So people are watching 3 games in his career and people are watching him like, you haven't earned that demon look yet. Even though, you're talking about a kid that has a national championship and went undefeated and all those things. Obviously his NFL is different, but it's not like he hasn't had this past success. But what I want to say about the alter ego thing is that's huge in sports. Like maybe people aren't talking about it. And I know I like Jetta with Jets, obviously that's a big one. Black Mamba with Kobe. And Kobe's said himself, obviously this is me saying like, oh yeah, but JJ McCarthy isn't Justin Jefferson or isn't Kobe. Yeah, but doesn't mean that he doesn't have this like alter ego thing. But the thing about that is there's a book. So there's a guy named Tim Grover, who's the personal trainer for Michael Jordan. He was a personal trainer for Michael Jordan, Kobe, and D Wade, and it's one of like the most popular books in the world. It's called what is it? Starts with an R. I'll have to look real quick. But anyways, in that book, like he's pretty much explaining the mentality that he put into Michael Jordan's head, Kobe Bryant's head, Dwayne Wade's head, and also like and was their personal trainer, so helped them on other stuff too. And obviously those guys ended up being great. But I think there's a specific chapter in his book about, and this is one of the most popular books, so I would not be surprised if JJ McCarthy read it, and tons of athletes, most athletes probably should have read this book, and talk about having an alter ego. And it's the guy that goes on the field and is going to war, that whole thing. So I think like so that's the reason why I'm like, this happens all the time. So it's just like JJ McCarthy being the one to say it. Jets said it right on. I mean, Jets, JJ or Justin Jefferson said it on what's his name's show. I can't think of it right now.
Rich Eisen.
Yeah, Rich Eisen show, and he was talking about like Jets is at home getting ready for the workout for later, like talking about them like that or whatever. But people do that, and then like even people been doing, and I've read this book by the way, so that's the reason why I kind of get an idea of it. But then he gives an example of how like obviously when back in the day for sure, but when people go to war, like you're not the same person that goes to war as you are when you're at home. So that's the reason why I'm like I don't look at it as some sort of like cringy negative thing is because I literally think tons of athletes do it. But I think JJ McCarthy is just the one that mentioned like, yeah, that he just mentioned it or whatever. And maybe people don't feel like he has the like he hasn't done enough in the NFL to be able to like talk about it or whatever.
Yeah.
And not to mention most people who thought it was cringe were Ohio State fans.
That's a good point. But yeah, I mean, look, he's did everything for the most part you could have wanted him to do last week. He understands where he needs to get better. And I do think a lot of that just comes with just being amped up for your first game back, however long it was. Like a lot of it is just overthrowing, I think. Yeah. And not, being sound with your mechanics. But I don't know. I think it's all fixable. But I just think that's a huge confidence boost for a kid to go into that environment, find a way to win that game. And that's the thing. It's like it's never ending. It's one game, right? At the end of the day, it's very impressive. But it's one game. Do I think some people are trying to lowball his credit? Sure. Do I think some people are overstating the credit he should get? Probably. Like I think it lands somewhere in the middle where it's like it's impressive, but he said himself, like it's not perfect. I got ways to go. We all know that. But it's a huge step forward in that environment. But now you came off a big win just like you did in Chicago.
Right.
You have a tough opponent come into your home stadium. You guys are 1-2 at your home stadium. It's really up to him to take what he did in that Detroit game, carry it over, and improve upon it.
Yeah. I did want to mention that book I was talking about. It's called Relentless. But yeah, anyways, with that, just to end that thing real quick is like mostly just that's like one of the most popular books. I would not be surprised if it is the number one book for athletes or whatever. So I'm sure he's pretty influenced by that. Yeah. But back to what you were mentioning with the Lions game is like, yeah, but you're right. As far as like, there's probably people who are putting it too high and there's probably people putting it too low. Definitely putting it I'll say there's definitely putting it too low because I don't care what you say. You're talking about a kid that got injured coming off of a loss to the point where and I don't know if he listens to people or whatever, but everybody was already calling him a bust after the second game, wanted Wentz over him, all these different scenarios for this kid to come out. And ultimately, like I don't like just take the stats completely out of it altogether and just look at the fact that this kid came back after all of that and beat a divisional team or helped to beat, I guess you could say, help beat a divisional team who I've already mentioned it is arguably considered the best team in the NFC. We're projected to win by 9.5 points. We lost to them twice last year. Everybody talks about the Sam Darnold thing. Sam Darnold lost to them twice last year. Even in a similar situation, he didn't make that throw. And like you could take all the stats out of it. In that one, like I don't think like the people who are hating on him, they're not giving him enough credit for. It's like, yeah, he's gonna have bad throws. Of course he is. It's his third game of his NFL career, but he made the one throw that counted more than anything. And it's like, you're going to group that up as the same thing as all the other throws. It's like the same thing with the end of the Chicago game. It was like, you're going to say he had one good quarter. So you're going to weigh that one quarter that was the best fourth quarter comeback ever for a first-time quarterback, and it's the same ways as the rest of the quarters. So that's the thing there. I'm like, it's pretty impressive of what JJ McCarthy did in the game, even if he missed throws and stuff. Like, that's to be expected. But he ultimately won this game for us, technically.
And another big thing to think about too, coming into that game last week and kind of where he's at now, is like you said, there's a lot of people, and I'm sure it's probably one of those things where his group told him, like, look, like he's got social media. I'm sure he's on the internet. We know he has social media because he posted the picture of him after the game, said kneecap still intact, which I love, by the way.
Yeah,
but he's out there. He's reading all this stuff. Like,
kid's a dog.
He's like they always say, like, oh, you can't listen to it, but they do. Like, they read it. They know what's being said about them. And the worst thing for him is he had no recourse to go prove him. Like, he had no recourse to go prove him wrong because he can't go play.
Right.
And I was watching The Voyage before this, and everyone wants to talk about the way
I watched it too.
Tom Pelissero, he's just like, I mean, Kevin O'Connell did the hard thing. Like, the popular thing would have been throw him out there, but that's not good long term. Like, yeah, you can appease the fan base, but who cares about appeasing the public if you're going to ruin this kid's career? And this is a kid you're tying your hip to, right? Mm-hmm. So all that stuff factored into this. He could have easily gone and just folded in Detroit in his first start, right? Mm-hmm. Like, team was down 7-0. We had a nice kick return. He could have easily gone out there and missed a bunch of throws, folded, and just moved on to the next day, right? After all the things that were said about him and all that. But he came out, just put it all behind him and played. And we saw how much it meant to him after that game in that post-game press conference. Like, we saw how much being back out there meant to him. And look, and his teammates, I think a lot of that emotion came from him being like, yeah, I heard all this shit, and I had no way to go out and prove people wrong. Like,
yeah, and then his teammates waiting for him and making sure he knows. Right. And
for sure.
Dude, this kid's a dog. Like, that's why I'm like, the cringe thing is going to happen. It has to, because people are going to want him to fail. People, obviously, we've seen it. Our own fan base wants him to fail for whatever reason. I don't get that. But there's people who want him to fail. And so if he says anything, but it's not fake, dude. Like it's easy to hear him say, and you're not paying attention if you think it's fake. Like, that look in the locker room, I could see someone that hasn't been paying attention and be like, oh, whatever. But even, I don't know if it wasn't on The Voyage, it's a different clip. But even when he had that rushing touchdown and he's just like, I wanted to lay into him. I wanted to lay into him. So like this, like he don't know he's on camera saying this shit. He's like, I wanted to lay into him so bad. And then Josh McCown was just like, no laying in the people or whatever. Like, and based off what his players, all the, like, Aaron Jones, like, we've done enough. We've literally did our own deep research on JJ McCarthy and this stuff because we made a video on it. And this kid is just at the end of the day, he's a fucking straight dog. He is. It doesn't mean he's automatically going to be a franchise quarterback and the quarterback of the future. But one thing about him, he is a dog out here. So I would say that for sure. That's not like some sort of fake thing going on, which you got to love to see from your quarterback, I would say, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. So I don't know. I mean, I think he's going to carry that forward into this game against Baltimore. Like, is it going to be perfect? No. Could he come out and play worse than he did against Detroit? Sure. But we've seen the good. We've seen him just work his way through it, work his way towards it. So I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited. And I'm honestly, I'm excited to see how he responds this next game.
Right.
Coming off a big win where he wasn't perfect. And he knows that. I'm really excited to see how he comes out and plays in this game, especially now he's going to have the home energy behind him again. I don't know. I'm really excited to see how this all goes down.
Dude.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be, it's just another growth point for him for sure.
Yeah. And I think you say it better than you said it the best is that, it's cool to see him off. Like, that's a high of high. Same with the Chicago. That's like high. I mean, these are highs of highs. I mean, he already is an NFC Offensive Player of the Week award after week 1. And then the Tom Brady, like, what's the odds you're Tom Brady? You win that. Like, JJ McCarthy, of course he's going to do that when Tom Brady. Like, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. But that's crazy. So it's like such highs of highs. Like, those 2 wins were massive. There's quarterbacks that don't see wins like that. And this is going to sound crazy, but like through their whole careers, like there's for sure starting quarterbacks that don't get some sort of comeback against a divisional opponent that you see it in Chicago or like come in and be such underdogs and then come and beat a Detroit team in Detroit type of situation. That kind of stuff doesn't happen that often.
Yeah.
So
and hold that thought, Gary. We'll get to that later when we do our keys to victory.
Yeah, we're going to do keys to victory, which I forgot to do the graphics, by the way. So
yeah, but we'll be all right.
Yeah, we'll be good. But anyways, just so all of that and just such highs, and that's why I think you're right. Like, obviously, we've seen him how he came into that Atlanta game. You know, obviously, there's all that other stuff going on behind closed doors, or well, not even really closed, because we knew he had a baby and practice once that week or whatever. But it will be good to see if he can not just respond, like see if he can get a little bit better, see if he can get in this game and make some more of those throws on the run. He's going to have more time. That's another thing. Last week, Detroit had the second most pressures of the entire season of any teams against us last week. And that should be something that we get taken care of this week against a Baltimore's defense that hasn't been as good as far as pressures go. But have an opportunity to do that, have an opportunity to not botch a snap. So far in the Atlanta game, in this one, he botched I think a couple in that one in the Atlanta game, botched another one last game, and then it sounds like it wasn't all on him or whatever, but still. That
is something to mention too, where like a lot of quarterbacks that happens and they say screw it and fall. Or at least he had that trigger to be like, okay, I see a hole, I know where the hole is going to be, I got to go. And that's another thing too, just like in game, just
and not even just in game, but it was like
you could tell that Detroit game that things like maybe the time off, playing those two games and sitting on the sidelines. I feel like you saw a lot of the game, quote unquote, slowing down for him in that Detroit game, and I think that play was one of the best examples of that. Because again, a lot of quarterbacks just like the play breaks, they fall over, take the sack. Like he knows, like, well, this is kind of an important one. We got to try to end this, so I got to try to get some yardage out of this, and he's able to make it work. So I think that is something to point out as well.
Yeah, dude, that's
turning a broken bad play into a positive is huge.
Right. JD,
and not something all quarterbacks can do.
What's up, bro? Yeah, dude. And that was underrated, because that's the thing, is that just shows you that JJ understands the situation going on. So if that happens, he understood, like, we can't have negative yards here. Like, you can't, like, it's not even understanding that, because this is something that, like, it's fast paced. Like, this is something you react to. He just knows, like, it's in him. He's played enough football. He has enough. People have always said that he's just a good football player from like a mental standpoint, or just like knowing the position very well. But that's kind of motion that shows, like, when that's going on, like, you don't know what else to do, and it's a reaction. Your reaction is to make sure you gain yards instead of lose them. I feel like that's definitely was a very underrated thing of that game.
Yeah, for sure. But we'll see. Again, big game. It's gonna tell you a lot about him, how he comes out and plays in this Baltimore game.
Much when you're handing ball off at the time, I want to see him make it through an NFL season. Yeah, I would say the injury thing is still out there. So we'll see.
Yeah, but until it happens again, what the fuck's the point of thinking about it?
Yeah, I know.
Like, I mean, I hate again, it's just a typical, we got to be so worried he's going to get hurt again. Like, no, we don't. If he gets hurt again, we'll talk about it. But until then, like, why even bring it up? Like, what's the point? Like, well, what's the point? It's always like, it's like going into a day thinking like, I wonder what bad thing's going to happen to me today. Like,
yeah. And I understand.
You can't think about it that way.
And I understand, like, why some people are like worried just because he's gotten hurt twice. But in my mind, he didn't get hurt a single time and T-Bass said, like, the NFL is different, whatever. Fair enough. But he's the first quarterback to come in and is out for the season as a rookie, but tons of quarterbacks get injured. Look at all the ones going down this year. Well, Jaden Daniels, he's a great example. Obviously, he runs the ball and stuff like that. But still, and obviously, and who knows, maybe Jaden Daniels is screwed. I don't know. But Jaden Daniels is already in college, had multiple injuries. Michael Penix had 2 ACL or 3 knee. Was it 3 surgeries?
2 surgeries? I think 2 knees and a shoulder.
Yeah, 2 knees and a shoulder. So I'm like, it's going to happen. But that's a one thing. And it would suck to go and see him get injured again. And it could become a problem. Like, if he gets injured again, I would pretty much more look at it as like, oh, this is a problem now, more than like, I'm just anticipating for him to get hurt so I can already be like 3 strikes and he's out. We need to find another quarterback. because some of you just want that anyways. Like some of you just want him to fail for whatever reason.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And
I don't know. It's like, why? Let's not worry about it. Let's just enjoy things as it goes. If he gets hurt, we'll have that conversation then. I don't know. I'm just not in. It's like, I don't know. It is what it is, I guess. But
yeah. That's why I'm like, you can't. I don't even consider him injury prone. Having 2 in his life, it could be like there's some fluke situations like that
for sure.
Is in
yeah. I mean,
and we're getting into injury rate. I already have
injuries right now. Huh?
I have it up already because we're already talking about JJ's injury.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, do you have it up? Do you want to just bring it up real quick?
Yeah. Yep. So this is their injury report as of today. Let's see. Do we have the right? There it is. All right. So starting off top, Christian Darrisaw did not practice, did not participate. Let's not panic like we did last week.
Oh no, he's
not going to play. No, the exact same thing happened last week.
Right.
Yes, it was still even under the knee category, not the rest. He's going to be fine. Just a rest day from the knee. Jeff Okudah did not participate with a concussion. Doubt he's going to play. Josh Oliver, it sounds like he's been getting some side of the field work, but still did not participate. So I doubt we see him. CJ Ham limited 2 days in a row. It'll be interesting to see. I'm sure he'll go into the questionable designation. Aaron Jones did not practice yesterday. Did practice today. He spoke to Darren Wolfson, and even right after the game, and said he feels pretty good. It does sound like he's going to push his hardest to play. Theo Jackson moving up from did not participate to limited with a concussion is a good sign. Jalen Redmond limited to limited. I sound a good sign there. Will Fries from limited to full participation. Sounds like that's going to be good to go. Harrison Smith had a rest day back today. Josh Metellus also up to full participation. So really, it sounds like the only players in danger of missing are going to be Okudah and Josh Oliver, which, Okudah, concussion, you don't want to mess with that. And Josh Oliver would have been great to have him last week just for his pass blocking abilities. But it does not look like he's going to be out there either. But other than that, looks pretty good.
I mean, we're hoping with Aaron Jones because he went from a DNP. I would say that I'm assuming he's more on the line of questionable than like good to go or whatever. But I would say that's definitely good, especially seeing how he looked in the beginning of last game. So overall, man, we're there. And wait, was Ryan Kelly on here? Oh no, he's out. No.
He's still on the.
He's on the 21. They opened the window.
I doubt. I mean, it doesn't seem like he's probably not going to be out there. I'm sure they'll give him a little more time. But
yeah.
Especially with 2 concussions already.
Yeah, so we would have probably already heard. He'd probably be on here if he.
And I don't even know if necessarily his practice window has been opened yet.
Well,
I think they said he's just getting some work on the side, which is different than actually practicing. I don't think they count that.
Yeah, and plus,
otherwise they would have him on here with like asterisks next to his name as if his 21-day window was open.
Okay.
So
Blake Brandel, I mean, he's been kind of up and down, but he's had 2 really good games as center. So
I think he's proven he can handle it. And honestly, I mean, if he keeps at least playing well enough, what's the point of rushing? What's the point of rushing Kelly back, especially with the age and the injury that he has? So
honestly, I mean, who knows? I wouldn't mind keep seeing. I mean, that's obviously it would be absolutely the best case scenarios for Brandel to somehow form into the center we always wanted or whatever. Obviously, we're going to need a little bit more playing before I believe that 100%. But I want to see. That's another guy. Like, I'd hope that he steps up this week again. And we've already talked about it against a Ravens. Did you have more to show on there?
No, the Ravens literally had nothing.
The Ravens are completely healthy. How convenient for them. Haha.
Hey,
you guys,
right,
good for you guys. No excuses. They don't got a damn excuse. That's all I know for sure.
Best, right?
What's that?
He said if you're going to be the best, you got to beat their best at their best.
Yep. And yeah, I mean, we're feeling it now. We beat the Lions. We're the best. We want to be the best now for sure. Speaking of that, though, going into this Ravens game with no injuries on their side of the ball, and obviously things are definitely looking a lot better on our side, and even getting CJ Ham back would be big as far as just in the blocking game against a Ravens defense that hasn't been the best in pressures. Let me go into this. Obviously, I usually have our graphics for this, but I totally forgot to do it. So our top 5 keys to victory for this game. Number 5 was, I forget exactly.
Defense against chunk plays, because look, I mean, last week defense held in there pretty good against that run game for sure. big shout out right here to Cashman and to Eric Wilson for the job they did there, as well as Andrew Van Ginkel coming back. But yeah, I mean, because look, the last month or so of the season, we played these teams where the defense has been good enough to get them into a third and medium, third and long situation. Then we allowed the big chunk play. We did it multiple times against the Eagles. We did it this last week when we were trying to ice that game away against the Lions with the big Jameson Williams touchdown. Had a couple big chunk plays against the Chargers on that Thursday night game. So I mean, it's something that this defense hasn't been great against this year, especially in the pass game, allowing those big chunks. And look, if that defense can bring the same intensity from last week, it's going to be huge. I mean, I think they found something last week, whole different challenge again with the caliber of offense we're facing here. But that's going to be your biggest thing is contain Lamar in the pocket and just try to avoid those big chunk plays downfield when you can. Going to need the corners to step up big time here.
Yeah, and especially in this game, again, like I kind of mentioned earlier, where I'm like, we've been pretty solid against the what's going on the Black Monday. We've been pretty solid against like a game planning against the offenses, in my opinion, the offense's strengths. And this is another game where you're going in there and you're doing whatever you can to really stop Lamar on the ground and Derrick Henry, which does open up another spot. Kind of reminds me, like I mentioned before, a lot of that Eagles game where you could see some guys getting open deep, and it has been happening, and needs to stop. Like, I'm hoping we go into this game. Let's not allow one single like touchdown that's over 30 yards or something. Like, let's just do that, because we're going all over the place with our Achilles heels this season when it comes to penalties and all that stuff. We're kind of showing some stuff, but all of a sudden this new like deep game, I think we're like third worst in 20 plus yards this season. So this is one where if you're going to lock in on Lamar and Derrick Henry, like try to figure out a way to not allow those big plays.
Yeah. So we'll see what we can do, especially with, again, caliber of offense they have. Yeah, the receivers, I mean, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman being their top two guys. We'll see what they do there. But a lot of this, and we'll talk about Lamar and Henry a little bit more in depth later on, but a lot of it's going to come down to them.
Number 4 was get the run game going.
Yes.
Again. Yeah. I'll let you jump into that.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, as we saw, look, Kevin O'Connell, one of the main, because even after that win last week, he was on his No More Tuesday media session with Paul Allen. I read the comments on YouTube. It's all like, Paul, ask him why he did what he did on the last drive. Ask him why he did this. Ask him why he threw the ball on that last drive. That was stupid. He should have burned clock. Ask him. Of course, people that already don't like Kevin O'Connell are going to nitpick every little thing he does. But one thing that people do that rightfully so, they get upset about, he doesn't want to run the ball enough. Well, last week we ran the ball 29 times and it worked. So hopefully he sticks to that, realizes that's the best key to get this offense going is run the football. But that is a big thing that you got to do, especially it sounds like Aaron Jones will be there. Jordan Mason kind of step back into his number 2 running back role last week, and it felt like Aaron Jones was kind of the guy that they wanted to roll with. But you really do gotta get this run game moving, and it's going to help, because it's only going to help JJ McCarthy in the long run. And with the way that Jones ran last week, if you can get him back to that again, I feel pretty good about how we can do run the ball. I think the Ravens yards per game wise in the run game were about middle of the pack. I think right near us, around like 16, 17, somewhere around there. But they do allow the 9th most all-purpose yards to running back and the 3rd most touchdowns to running backs. So they are susceptible to the running game. And with the way if we can run the ball even close to how we did last week, I'm feeling pretty damn good about how this running game could go. And it's going to open up everything for the offense.
Yeah, dude. And you said it the best, man. I mean, this is a defense that have been allowing run games, to similar spot as we have, and not just running, but even I believe that their receiving yards to the running back has been more of an issue for them than even the actual rushing yards for the running back. And you got that's huge if you get Aaron Jones back. If you get Aaron Jones back, we've seen him in the pass game. Unfortunately, like it feels like Aaron Jones was specifically coming in here to be like a big weapon in the passing game for JJ McCarthy. And obviously JJ McCarthy gets injured. Aaron Jones gets injured. So we didn't get to see a ton of that. But in this one, I do think if Aaron Jones is healthy and he's good to go, I do think you're going to see a lot of him in the pass game on this one. And then, like you said the 3rd most touchdowns. This is just another example of once you get in the red zone, make sure you're dialing in some decent runs in this one.
For sure. And yeah, Aaron Jones, I think he provided a little bit of a spark to that running game last week. But again, it does go back to Kevin O'Connell with this. You do got to just lean into that run game as much. I mean, Maybe not as much as you did last week, but it's close to it as possible here, especially with how good that run game was working and opening up the offense this last week. So huge. Be excited to see what we do there. Number 3, take advantage of their weak pass rush. As we mentioned, they are tied for the second least amount of sacks in the league with 11. So McCarthy, and the way this offensive line, like, look, yes, McCarthy had some pressure on him last week, but they had Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson, I don't care how good your tackles are going to be, he's going to find a way to make his impact felt every game. That's why he's the highest guaranteed money in a contract outside of a quarterback in NFL history. I mean, he deserved that money. We saw last week what he can do to a game. Josh Oliver would have been nice to have, but we're not. It's not this again. I mean, Matabuke is out for the year. It's just not the same caliber of as we faced last week. So I think McCarthy could very well in drop back passing have some time in the pocket, get the play action, get that run going. I think he should have some time. And again, it's not going to be easy because you do have a very talented defensive backfield with these guys. I mean, four big names back there that you have with the 2 safeties. Malachi Starks. I'm not 100% sure how he's been doing this year, but I know looked good in college. We'll see what he's doing this year. Right. Malachi Starks. Kyle should have been a Viking. Hamilton. Then you got Nate Wiggins, who's in his second year, has been looking solid, as well as Marlon Humphrey back there as well. So very talented secondary. But McCarthy should have time to sit in the pocket and make the right throw. And you have Justin Jefferson, you have Jordan Addison, you have TJ Hawkinson, you have Jalen Naylor. They're not going to be able to cover them forever if McCarthy has some time there, plus his scrambling ability as well. So if you're able to hold off that pass rush, you got to be able to find a way to make some plays down the field. Because I mean, McCarthy was impressive last week, but the numbers weren't great. I mean, 5.5 yards per completion, only 143 yards. So if you want to see those numbers go up, he's going to have to push the ball downfield a little bit. And yes, talented corners, but if he has some time in the pocket, I think you're going to have some time to hit those plays.
Yeah, on my side of things, I'm just kidding. I'll talk not fast. No, I'm a very fast talker. I'm about to do it again right now because this is a big hole to take advantage of in this game. You mentioned it. They have the second least sacks in the NFL. On top of that, whether you like PFF or not, they rank bottom. I think they're the 3rd worst or the 4th worst in the NFL in just a pass rushing grade in general, which is huge because we have an offensive line that outside of Ryan Kelly will be together for only the 3rd time this season and the first time in 2nd consecutive games. You have Blake including the same center and Blake Brandel there this week. And I do think that's going to be a big one. And I do think, I think this offensive line still needs a little bit of time to gel. And especially with Blake Brandel kind of being in there for a while here, I do think that you get that in this one. So I'm hoping to see kind of a step up from our offensive line in this game on top of not playing against a very strong pass rushing defense. And guess what? We've played against, and at the end of this year, we will play against probably the top 5 pass rushers in the NFL. We've already played against 4 of them. Aiden Hutchinson just last week, he ate the best he could. Brian O'Neill did make. I just went actually watching going back and watching the Voyagers too. They re-showed that the game or the game ceiling play or whatever. Yeah. And Blake Brandel had a hell of a containment and block against Aiden Hutchinson on that play. But other than that, Aiden Hutchinson was in the backfield almost the entire game. And you don't have a guy like that you're playing this week. You don't have a guy like TJ Watt. You don't have a guy like Myles Garrett. You don't have a guy like Hendricks. Yeah. Like we've literally played against 4 of the top 5. And then obviously Micah Parsons throwing them in there that we're going to play twice this year. We've played already against 4 of the top 5, not including Micah Parsons, pass rushers in the entire NFL this year. And this week, we don't have a guy to worry about like that. So this is a time for JJ McCarthy to have time in the pocket or should and needs to take advantage of it, man. Needs to take advantage of it, cool out a little bit. I think, I know a lot of people, I 100% believe that the last drive of the second quarter or the first half, second quarter, same thing, in the Lions game was kind of where he got amped and got a little shaky there and started missing throws. And the pass rush was on him heavy. He was getting smacked by Aiden Hutchinson there. He was getting, obviously, that big smack by Jack Campbell was during that drive. And I do think, like, I don't care which quarterback you are, especially one in their third game, if you're getting smacked that hard one after another, things are going to get a little shaky for you. And I do think JJ McCarthy ended up mostly coming back and looking good, especially making that big throw at the end of the game. But I do think that that this game, if he doesn't have that, I think he can kind of stay cool and collective, and hopefully the whole amped up thing won't be as big of a deal for him, and can kind of take advantage of that.
For sure. And that kind of leans right into number 2, and that is Jefferson and Addison. I mean, obviously, as we said, against a weaker pass rush, talented secondary, McCarthy should have time to push the ball downfield. And I don't care how good your corners are. If you're going up against Jefferson and Addison, you can't cover them both for 5 to 10 seconds, right? So they're going to be able to find their ways to get open. And if McCarthy has time and he makes accurate throws, these guys could eat this game, especially if it does become a high scoring affair, which this game very well could. And that Ravens defense does allow the 7th most receiving yards and 5th most receiving touchdowns to wide receivers. So this could be a big game for wide receiver 1A in Justin Jefferson and 1B in Jordan Addison.
Yeah, dude, let's go. And like you said, that's what exactly, like, JJ McCarthy gets time to throw the ball. You have the best wide receiver in the NFL in Justin Jefferson, the best wide receiver too in the NFL in Jordan Addison. They should have plenty of time to get open in this one against a potential talented secondary with the Ravens that have not been that great by what you said, 7th most receptions to wide receivers, as well as the 5th most touchdowns. And we've already talked about.
I do think a lot of that is tied into that pass rush. Because again, you can have the best defensive backs in the world, but if they're being asked to cover for as long as they are, if the defense gets pressure,
especially if it's Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison,
for sure,
then you're in trouble, boy. So I'm expecting big game from them. Take advantage of the lack of pass rush and use the boys, Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, which, by the way, I do love the picture that there's a couple of big ones that I really like. The picture of Jordan Addison during the whole game ball thing with JJ McCarthy and Jordan Addison's sitting over there with just a big old smile on his face. And then everybody's just like, the first time you've seen like Jordan Addison smile. And I don't know if you've seen it, but it was like the picture of Jaden McDaniels' little meme where it's like 4 of him, like happy Jaden or mad Jaden. It's the same face. And they're like, without JJ McCarthy, which is hilarious because the similarities between Jaden or McDaniels and Addison is super funny. And they're friends, and they're actually friends.
I bet they probably have some pretty chill times.
Yeah. And chill times, if that's what we want to call them. Some sort of times.
Well, at least I think at the very least, McDaniels would be like, "Nah, we're just chilling on the couch, man. We don't need to."
I know, Jay. He's like, "Come on, man.
Get out of the car.
You don't want to just go. Yeah, you don't want to just go like." But Jaden McDaniels is the one that they go out and then it's like someone messes with him, and Jaden McDaniels he's the one that's going to be swinging on some fools if that happens.
He tried that on a wall one time.
Yeah, I know.
And they're done.
Hey,
great.
I heard that wall lost the fight, so I don't know. Anyways, I love that though. So you just love to see Jordan Addison just happy and smiling and looking at JJ McCarthy, and he knows that chemistry that they've built together. And I would love to continue seeing that because I would say last game we didn't get to see it as much as I was hoping, but it's there. So I'm gonna expect some more Jordan Addison in this game for sure.
For sure, and I'm excited to see it because I mean Jefferson happy to get back in the end zone, but those numbers got to bump up a little bit. I mean I think he's got like 640 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. We got to get those numbers up a little bit. And I think as this offense grows under McCarthy, I think we'll see more of those passes be completed. And
not to mention the 2 throws that like the first throw he threw with Jordan Addison dime. You got to love to see them taking those chances. And then obviously the Justin Jefferson, giving Justin Jefferson a chance. That's what I love to see in that game was like, you can say whatever you want about his passing yards, but you can't act like he wasn't like being a game manager. He was attempting those
throws when he had to. And O'Connell trusted him to go out there and make those throws, which, by the way, the whole soft benching thing, I'm glad we can finally put that to bed because Kyler Murray is being soft benched. Like that feels like a legitimate soft benching situation. Mm-hmm. And then people, quarterback can't play on a high ankle sprain. Joe Alt's out for the year because of a high ankle sprain having surgery. So we can put all that other crap to bed finally.
Yeah.
With all that.
By the way, like what happened with the KOC Carson Wentz thing?
Yeah, right.
That seems to have been gone. All right, lasted 1 week,
and everyone's just like, oh yeah, But people, I mean, again, people are still going to nitpick the play calling with O'Connell. They can do what they want. They're haters. It's fine. I'm kidding. You're not haters.
Speaking of play calling, though, but on the opposite side of the ball.
Well, and that's kind of right here. I mean, Cashman made a good point. He said Vikings have faced a lot of mobile quarterbacks this season. He believes the team is ready for Lamar, and that is key number one. And that is kind of like run game in general, but it does come down to Lamar and Derrick Henry. Take it away.
Yeah. I mean, there isn't really a ton of say here. There's two guys in this game that the Vikings absolutely need to stop to win this one, and that is Lamar and Derrick Henry. I don't think this needs to be a situation where the Vikings always have to score. Like I forgot our guy earlier mentioned that our offense needs to be constantly scoring. I don't think that's going to be the case. Well, maybe in this one if we can't contain those guys, but if you can contain Lamar and Derrick Henry, specifically Lamar, well, it's kind of the combo because they do so well together as far as like you can't, if you want to stop Lamar, then you got the big boy Derrick Henry in there. But if you can somehow stop that, man, it's really hard to think that you'll lose this game, especially at least from our defense versus their offense standpoint. And that's just part of that is because I just don't think they have, like, we did it well against the Eagles, but they have Devonta Smith and AJ Brown, and they have Zay Flowers and Bateman, and I guess they have an old DeAndre Hopkins. Nothing to sleep on, but it's not the same level.
They do have Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely as well out there. But I think like the big thing with these guys that was like is like the really you don't stop Derrick Henry and Lamar. Like the only way that any team this year has really stopped Derrick Henry is you get a lead. Because he's not a pass catching back.
Well, and Lamar wasn't on the field too, and
exactly. That was the other point. Yeah, like they had to shift to bringing out Justice Hill because he's more of the receiving back, and of course, yes, no Lamar Jackson, but now Lamar's out there. So I don't see a lot of times in which they're going to end up being behind here, right? So I mean, I think it's just kind of one of those things where it's like you don't stop them, you don't stop a Derrick Henry for sure. You have to limit Derrick Henry, and with Lamar, the big thing is like, look. My biggest gripe with Lamar was the passing. He's become a very good passer over the last couple of years. So if you get like, but with him and with their, I mean, I guess you want to like, they don't have a stud 1A type receiver. Like they have good receivers. They have Zay Flowers, who's really good, and they have Sky Umah, Roll the Boko Gophers, Rashad Bateman out there, who hasn't been like a big piece of that offense, being a first round pick, but he's been a consistent piece of that offense.
He's the one that gets the 40-yard touchdown. Exactly. He's the one that's going to get that 30. He's going to be the Devonta Smith in this situation.
But at the end of the day, though, it's like limit Derrick Henry, get them into passing situations, and make Lamar beat you as a pocket quarterback. Don't let him escape outside. Don't let him beat you up the middle and get those 30, 40-yard chunk runs. Don't let him get outside the pocket and make things happen with his arm. Make him play from the pocket. And if he beats you from within the pocket, at least you did your job and you kept him there. Like that's 1A thing you have to worry about here. And how do you keep him in the pocket? You put him into passing situations by by limiting Derrick Henry the best you can. And that's going to be the struggle here. And that's where Flores is going to have to come in with a great plan because as we said with their cornerbacks, it goes the same with ours. Ours are a little bit weaker, right? I mean, we've seen it. They've allowed some big chunk plays. Yeah. If you send the house, which Flores had a great plan last week, I applaud him for the way he adjusted. This is a little bit of a different animal, though, with the way that Lamar plays. So Flores is going to have to have a really good plan to A, get pressure, but B, be able to cover these guys. Because, I mean, as I said with them, you can't cover forever. And with Lamar, if you allow him to sit back there, he's going to beat you, or he's going to find a way to get out of that pocket and make things happen with his leg or downfield on the move. So it's tough, man. And look, yes, we played Jalen Hurts. We played a lot of mobile quarterbacks, but I would say we haven't played Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, to me, from that perspective of how they play the quarterback position, there's a reason those two guys have been your last two MVPs, right? So the big thing with Lamar that I will say is just keep him in the pocket and make him beat you as a pocket passer.
Yep. And we have the athleticism on the edges. So that's another thing with him is like you said, keep him in the pocket. And that's what we've been good ever since we've gotten Grenard and Andrew Van Ginkel. We have been very solid at staying or not letting quarterbacks getting outside the pocket and using their legs. The biggest problem has mostly been in the middle of the defense. So hopefully we can stay solid there and kind of move some pressure from that side of the ball or that part of the defense. I mean, so yeah, obviously that's a big one. I mean, if you can do that on defense, I think you're feeling good. What's up over there?
I think is this supposed to be like a Jason Bateman joke?
Isn't he kidding? I don't even know. I think he was just talking about Rashad Bateman.
Oh, I don't know. I thought maybe that's what that was.
Sweet,
I don't know.
Sweet, especially in Little House on the Prairie. Willie, I believe was his name. Willie Bateman. How about Bates Motel? What's his name? What's Bates Motel? What's the first name of the Bates Motel? Something I forget. Ed Gein's guy.
He was in there. Yeah, okay. So that is what he was getting at. Okay, I figured that was it. Bateman's sneaky good, especially in Little House on the Prairie. See, that's funny. That's funny. I get that.
It was Jason Bateman?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He was a kid, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
It was back in his childhood acting days.
It
yeah.
was actually Jason Bateman.
Good one, Gary. I love that. That's funny. That's funny.
But
yeah, Lamar and Henry.
Yeah.
That's obvious. When you play these certain teams, like those are the names you have circled. Like, don't let this guy beat you. Like when you look at that defense, you're looking like they're probably telling McCarthy, get up to the line. Where's 14?
Right.
Find Kyle Hamilton first, and then do what we got to do from there.
Yeah, and if you can stop that, if you can just hold them to any extent at all, I feel confident of our offense versus their defense.
Right.
That we can get some points on the board and win this.
And I think again that goes back to chunk plays, like that's the thing with Derrick Henry. Like they'll pound him up the middle for 2-yard gain, 4-yard gain, 5-yard gain, 3-yard gain, but eventually he's going to hit that 50, 60 yarder on you once you're tired out. Like that's the thing that you have to be better against defending against.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be tough. Like that's the game of Derrick Henry. Like he tires you out until he's able to bust off a couple of those long runs. And then when he's doing that, it only makes Lamar better. So Flores has to have a great plan here. And this offense, I mean, just like who was it? Yeah, I said earlier, like this offense has to be able to score. Because if you let them get a lead, they're just gonna pound Derrick Henry on you until you're tired. And then that's just how they're gonna run the game.
And that's what has not been good.
Yeah. So the offense has to get out there. The offense has to chew some clock, keep that defense fresh, score some points. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It's going to take, again, they always say full 60-minute team effort, which of course, but it's going to be that type of game. It's going to be a slugfest, I feel like. And this team and McCarthy and this offense is going to have to be up for it just as much as the defense is.
Yep, and I think they will. That's one thing that you have to love about Kevin O'Connell is he just, other than, I mean, sometimes he can be kind of conservative, though I do like how he ended the last game. I don't care what anybody says. Because he played not like a pussy, which so many people are worried like, oh, he needs to run the ball, oh, he needs to stop playing like a bitch. Well, guess what? I feel like at the end of the game, he didn't play like a bitch, and it was a big reason why we ended up winning with his play calling.
Yeah,
even if it didn't come with as many runs as you wanted.
That last drive. I mean, again, the smart move is to burn clock, but he said he's like you got. I mean, I was trying to be aggressive. Like,
yeah, good.
Like you got to find your spots, be aggressive, and try to score. And that's what he tried to do. Yes, you could have burned some clock, sure, because you kicked the field goal anyway. But at the end of the day, you got to, if you just put all your feelings about O'Connell aside, because I know whatever way you feel, you're kind of swayed by whatever. But like, put those all to the side and just be like, hey, he tried to go be aggressive and win us a football game.
Yep. Yeah.
But by the analytics, was it the smart move? Probably not. But at the end of the day, you got to at least applaud the fact that he tried at the end. And then his aggressiveness also could have been run the ball, make them use their last time out, punt and play defense and see if we can go to overtime. What did he do? He gave his quarterback an opportunity to sit in the pocket and make a throw to go win the game instead of try to do something different. So
exactly. And that's what he needs to do. And in this game too. And that's why I feel good about him is I feel confident in Kevin O'Connell. Well, we know when he's behind, you feel like you can always be in this game, but Kevin O'Connell's willing to open up this offense and try to bring us down the field to score. So like if it does become something where we have to keep up, like KOC's been pretty fucking good at keeping up with teams when we need to. So that's something to know, but hopefully we don't need to. What's going on, Delton? We're about to jump into our predictions right now here, but what you got to say, Casey?
Prediction wise?
Oh, I don't know. You're just smiling over there.
We're going to go.
Yeah. What do you got first?
I'll start with predictions.
Offense and defense, and then scores at the end.
Offense. We'll start with JJ McCarthy, the man of the hour, the man of the match, our quarterback. I don't know. I have a feeling he's going to play well. I do. I think, what did I predict yesterday? 250 all-purpose yards.
Yeah.
No turnovers, 2 touchdowns, I would say. I don't know. I have a good feeling he's going to come out and just continue. I mean, I think full week of practice, amped up to be at home. This team's getting healthier. I don't know, man. It just feels good to me. It feels like something good's going to happen in this game. And I think a lot of people are going to be impressed with McCarthy coming out of this one.
Yeah, I think he's going to make sure that he keeps the nose of the football down, as Tom Brady said on some of those running throws.
Just get over the top of it. Yep.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing for me with JJ McCarthy is just Obviously, some of the accuracy on the throws, I want those to get better. Those kinds of things are going to happen. It's going to take time, and he's going to get it. Josh Allen looked ridiculous his first season, and he's Josh Allen now.
Oh,
That we all
did you
know.
watch was it what was his name? He was a long time back. Chase Daniel. Chase Daniel did a little. He put a ball. He's like a lot of people are talking about this. He's like, I was very impressed with how McCarthy played because he showed the play where he threw to Jefferson on the sideline. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Like he's like, if you watch him, like he's aimed to throw. No. He's aimed to throw down the middle of the field. Like his feet were not set, but yet he was still able to rip an accurate, good pass to Jefferson on the sideline. He's like, not every quarterback can do that. He's like, that's impressive.
Yeah.
But again, he's like, you probably like to see him get his feet set to make that throw better, but he saw it open. He thought he could get there, and he got there. Like he has it. Like he's like, there's stuff to work with here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And we want to get those better, but that's gonna be the part of his game that might be a little bit more of a roller coaster. Like it's not gonna be perfect. And that's to be expected. But the one thing I do want him to get right this week is just the mental side of the game. I mentioned it earlier, but the botch snaps, I don't think it's on. I don't see it very often where a quarterback turns around and the running back's not in the right spot. I believe whether that was on the running back at some point, it's got to be on the quarterback because he didn't make sure the running back was in the right place. He's young, he's going to learn, but that's what I want to see him improve this week is mostly those. I think he's going to miss some throws, whatever, but I'm with you. I do think that I could see him getting 250 all-purpose yards, and with at least 200 of them being to the top two wide receivers, because I got Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson each going for over 100 in this game, as well as at least one touchdown a piece. We mentioned it already. They allow the 7th most wide receiver yards as well as the 5th most wide receiver touchdowns. So I do think that's a big possibility. And Jordan Addison specifically, I think you're going to see more of that chemistry that we all heard and seen a little bit about during the preseason between them two. And that's one thing I really loved about that last game is JJ McCarthy is well aware that he's got Justin Jefferson on the field. And that was something I was wondering how that would work without getting much time to play with him during training camp. But yeah, JJ McCarthy understands, like, yeah, we need to get Jetta the ball when I have the opportunity to, even with Jordan Addison, my chemistry with Jordan Addison.
How about, I'm going to sneak in a little, did you give your prediction? You did, right?
Yeah, Jordan Addison.
Yeah. I'm going to sneak in a little special teams thing here. Okay. Bold prediction. Miles Price breaks like the million-year-long streak of no punt return touchdowns this week. Ooh. Marcus Sherrills was the last one. I think it was like 2015 to have a punt return touchdown for the Vikings. I think Miles Price gets his. He was so close last time. Thank you, Tavier Thomas. I think he gets his this time. I think he gets that punt return touchdown we've been needing for years to break that streak.
And I'm going to be even bolder. You could even argue much bolder than that. And that is, with Bob Swede here, no penalties on special teams.
That is bold.
That's bold.
So far, that's
specifically in the kick return, punt return game.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe for Darren, I'll say Reichard re-breaks Cam Little's field goal record, hits a 70-yarder. We'll see if that happens.
70-yarder. Yeah. And of course, he just doesn't miss a kick at the very least. But that's not even a bold prediction anymore.
Right.
Defensively.
This is pretty bold. Go to the other quarterback. I think we hold, what was it? Like, what did I say? I think I picked like some obscure, like 37 yards. I think we hold Lamar. I'll go 40. We hold Lamar Jackson under 40 rushing yards this game. Okay. I think Flores comes in with a great plan to keep him contained to the best of his extent. I think we do a good job of that.
Yep. Obviously, I love that. I'm hoping. Yeah, that's one thing. I think I mentioned it to you. You're like, I don't know I forgot if you were looking at like holding Lamar and Derrick Henry under 100 yards combined, or even 75. I like that. 75 yards combined. That's a Lamar and so I'm just gonna add to yours. Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson under 75 yards. Let's get bold. Another bold take here, and I got to go with this. So far, another thing that not everybody might not know, but the Ravens are second worst in the NFL in turnover differential this season. So obviously that means that they get less turnovers than the other teams that they're playing. A lot of that had to probably do with Cooper Rush, but I'm going to say that keeps going. I'm going to say our boy who came back last week, and God, you're just waiting for it to happen this year, even though he's only been around for 3 games. And that's Andrew Van Ginkel with his Gink 6 in this one. I feel like Lamar's the kind of guy who's like, I think there's running on it, like I understand he's become better as a passer, and he's not just this guy who always just wants to run first all the time, but that's in there a little bit. So I do think like there's going to be some plays in the back of his mind where he's just not going to be as aware on some of his. I'm totally fucking making this shit up, by the way. I have no idea what I'm talking about right here, but I just want Andrew Van Ginkel to get a pick six. So I'm saying that I think that in the back of his mind, he's going to always thinking about running. So he doesn't pay as much of attention on his screen passes. And Andrew Van Ginkel is going to cut one and grab one and bring it to the house.
Hell yeah. Who's going to spy Jackson? I kind of like that idea of Dallas Turner. Like, let him use his athleticism.
But he's not going to be out there all the time. Maybe so Eric Wilson, obviously the Blake Cashman, 14 total tackles last week, really stepped up. But yeah, dude, I mean, Dallas Turner has the speed. If he's out there, I'll like that. You're not going to see him out there as much. So my guess is they'll probably put Blake Cashman out there to do that. But even Van Ginkel, but Van Ginkel's he's such a good playmaker in other spots where it's like you can't commit to that. But they'll probably change it up. I say between Van Ginkel and Cashman, and then when Dallas Turner's on the field, potentially. Yeah. Hopefully, maybe. But I do think Dallas Turner, I think this is the game where you do want Dallas Turner out there a little bit, and maybe not even to get sacks, but to kind of just have his athleticism on the edges. So if Lamar Jackson does get outside of the pocket, you have someone as big as fast as Dallas Turner to help there. So
for sure. So moving on to score prediction. So at first, look, I was leaning Ravens because last week picked the Lions. We ended up winning, maybe going off that stuff. I don't know. But the more I thought about it, like, look, as we mentioned, we only have 3 home games. We're 1-3 or 1-2 at home so far. You can't lose another home game. You can't have 2 straight home losses in a row. And I think we could beat Chicago next week and push it to 3 and push it to 2 straight if we win this one at home. So I think we get it done. I think we get it. I think it's going to be a high scoring affair. I think it's 34-30. I think we come out very happy at the end of this game, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough game against this team. So I'll say 34-30. Vikings find a way to win at home, get up to 5-4, and hopefully the rest of the NFC North gives us some help. And maybe, who knows, maybe we're tied for first by the time Sunday's all said and done. You never know.
Let's go. I'm going to go and even a little bit more than that. I think this offense is going to get rolling up after JJ McCarthy. I think this team that, at least me, I can speak for us two, the team that we thought we could, hey, let's go Norse. The team that we thought the Vikings could be this year, I always called it too. I thought the JJ McCarthy coming back and all the injuries coming back could be a fresh start for the Vikings season, and it doesn't get better than what they did to the Lions. And I think that momentum can keep going, and this team can be who they were supposed to be. And if that's the case, that means you have one of the most talented offenses in the entire NFL. And I do think that's going to continue to go, especially against this week against the pass rush. When JJ McCarthy was able to do what he did, getting the pass rush the second most at all this entire season by any team. If he can go in there and stay in the pass rush isn't coming on like that, I don't see why this offense can't keep clicking the way it is. And I do still think we have the personnel to step up big on defense. So I do think that the Vikings can win this one and stay on top, and it doesn't have to be this super close thing the whole time. And I do have the Vikings winning 30, I'll go 31-24. So winning by a touchdown.
I like it.
Which isn't super crazy, but kind of crazy.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, look, it's a big game again, and it's all going to be about how they come out. Like, and again, it's like it sets the stage for the emotional letdown, but also it shouldn't, right? I mean, big win in Detroit. Your young quarterback played well. Your defense had their best. I would say their defense had the best game of the season overall. And now you come out at home against a good Baltimore Ravens team with Lamar back. That offense is going to be back in full force. You're right back in the division race. I don't know. This game's going to tell you a lot about this Vikings team, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's real. It's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a fun game. I really do. I'm excited.
I'm excited. And yeah, it is. And it's one of those things. It's back to the thing though, where it's just like, we're riding a lot on JJ McCarthy. Like a lot of this excitement is based around JJ McCarthy being coming out and continuing to look good and the whole winning thing that JJ McCarthy is based on coming into the season and being able to already see it I mean, come on. what he did in Chicago and Detroit is crazy. Like you wouldn't really expect him to actually like do that. So it's like that's still in the back of my mind going into this Ravens game. And if you still see a little bit of that magic in this one and we take another W, you're really going to see some good stuff going into next week. So that's the reason why I'm excited, because I want it to happen so bad.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Man, it's just, look, God bless Carson Wentz's soul, putting up with all the hits and the shoulder and all that.
Right,
but
right.
Let's
Real
be real.
MVP over there.
It's so much more exciting. It's so much more exciting to talk about football with JJ McCarthy in this game instead of Carson Wentz. Like, it's the vibe is different.
Trust us, and we come on and talk 2 hours a week at least, and Bleacher Report, and you can tell it's different when the Vikings are doing good and it's exciting. It's obviously more easy to talk about and fun to talk about. But
yeah, absolutely. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll let you get back. We'll let you get to watching the Thursday night game if you plan on doing that. I don't know if I do. It seems like a snooze fest to me. Broncos are fun to watch, I guess.
Sometimes,
I guess.
Bo Nix. I
got Ashton Genty on the other end. I need him to do some good stuff. But anyway, we'll let you guys go. Have a great rest of your weekend. Monday night, we'll be here breaking down this game. Hopefully a W. We'll see you guys then. Have a great weekend.
SKOL Vikings.